welcome everyone so far. Welcome everyone who is coming in last minute here. So we are here to talk about email and SMS marketing, more specifically how it relates to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and some of those nuances here for you. So some quick housekeeping before we get going, just to introduce myself if you're unfamiliar with who I am, which there's a good chance that is possible or likely. So I'm a senior e-commerce expert here at Omnisend. I've been in the email marketing world for, believe it or not, 18 years, coming up on 2 decades, which is crazy for me to think about. And I've done all things from practitioner to consultant to industry analyst. And now I'm kind of this hybrid role here. I've been doing SMS marketing for 11 years now. And obviously we are in a golden era of SMS. So we'll talk a little bit about that. If you want to find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, you can find me at What's Greg Doing. And of course, I'm on LinkedIn. And you can always just go to the Omnisend pages on each of those. And I'm usually tagged in something there. So you can find me, but welcome. Glad to be here for you. Happy to take questions for you as well. Things to know about the webinar today, approximately 1 hour in length, maybe a little bit shorter, maybe a little bit longer for anyone who wants to stay around. I'm sure we'll have tons of questions in here. So we'll do our best to get you out of here in a timely manner, but also I am free to stick around afterward based on how many questions we have and what our timing looks like. We are recording the workshop. It will be available on our YouTube channel, as well as a link via the email, which we'll send to anyone registered as well. So don't worry if you missed something or want to go back to look at these slides. And I did provide extra data in some of these slides for you to go back to look at afterward. If you have a question, use the Q&A tab. Of course, we have a general chat. I've got a couple associates here, colleagues who will kind of monitor the general chat for you and try to port things over to the Q&A. But the easiest way to kind of get in queue for the Q&A is to use that Q&A tab and not the general chat tab. And of course, when you log off, we'll give you some post-event feedback form. It is a super quick form, but super helpful for us to make these webinars a little more impactful for you, a little more strategic, and provide you what you want. So please fill out that form here. All right, the agenda today, we're going to look at some of the basics around BFCM, but what I look at, I go, every business is different. Your products are going to be different. The way you market is going to be different, but some things are going to be tried and true. And there's other things with making a successful season, with picking out the nuances in the season, where planning, a lot of times the game plan is copied from year to year, and that's perfectly okay with some small changes in there. But some of those nuances around timing and what to put in your messages, or maybe types of messages that are performing better than others at certain periods of the year, those are the small things that are going to allow you to get a little more data or a little more juice out of that lemon squeeze here. And I want to really talk about some of those things today to try to give you a general planning, timeframes, but message content as well, and see how we can set you up there. So I'm going to cover those things that you can see on the screen here. And of course, you've got the feedback form to fill out afterward, which I'm going to hold you to and yell at you. I'll stalk you on Twitter or LinkedIn if you don't complete this feedback form. So please do that. And then we'll have time for Q&A, hopefully at the end, where I could take some questions and get you going in a good direction. So real quick, if you're unfamiliar with any of these resources or values that Omnisend provides to you, I just want to call these out because I'm not going to talk about them so much during the presentation, but I think they're really important things to know. Remember, our live customer support, we're available 24/7, 365. So Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Thanksgiving Day, there's always these hiccups with something or a question about how do I do this in the email, or I'm having challenges with this. We have customer support on staff all the time. So please feel free to utilize them. Don't worry about those last minute hiccups. We'll get you covered. We have tons of holiday email templates we update throughout the year for all your major holidays, St. Patty's Day, things like this, but also the BFCM time, Christmas season, whatever you want to do here. So we have those multi-step forms, micro yes forms. So micro yes, for those that don't know, please jump around the Omnisend forms library, check them out. But there are things where you can ask yes or no questions versus just asking for input fields. Of course, presets for segmentation, automation workflows as well. Just copy them, go ahead and edit them, but they're all set for you. So it makes it easier. And then we have 2 free online resources that you may or may not be familiar with, but they're really cool. First one's the subject line tester. So you can throw your subject line in that, and it'll kind of give you a rating with recommendations or, hey, this thing's looking really good. So it's a cool tool to use throughout the course of the year, and it's free for you. The link is there, so you can just also find it via Google search, and an AI subject line generator. So if you're kind of stuck with your subject lines and you're like, this isn't really sticking here for me, we want maybe some different ideas, go ahead and use that subject line generator and see if it spits out something that you really like there for you. So another great tool for you, linked in the chat as well. So use it. I know when I was a practitioner, this is probably 15 years ago, I had a boss when I was coming up in the email world who we would spend these times writing subject lines. And he'd always say, with every time you write subject lines, write 10 good ones, and then 3 you would never, ever send to a customer. Right. And the good thing about that is the 3, they might be saucy, they might be a little inappropriate. Just don't use it in the editor, use a Word doc or something, or note stock. But a lot of times doing that lets you get out of the box a little bit and get a little more creative, and something flows in your brain to go, oh, you know what, this is a better wording choice here, or that's a really easy thing to do. So little tip for you. It's always worked for me. I still do that even with byline topics and things like that. I try to put a couple ones that I would never send, and it just gets you a little more freed internally. So that's how we can keep you prepared. But now let's get to the good stuff here. So we want to talk about Black Friday, Cyber Monday planning. I want to start by looking at shopping trends and sending trends and how that relates to orders here. I've got some hair on my camera, so bear with me. I don't want something in the middle distracting you here. So I think this is a good place to start. And this is e-commerce sales, online sales from Adobe last year. And I'll kind of walk you through what we're looking at here. You don't need to memorize this, but these days I'm going to show you how I would plan my marketing calendar based on what we're seeing here. So that first little square you see on the left-hand side there, that's mid-October, and that is Amazon's Prime Day last year, the 2-day sales. And that happened on the 10th and 11th last year, if I'm not mistaken. So you can see that bump there. I know this year, they're not calling it Prime Day. It's Amazon's Big Days deal, which is kind of tough to say, but that's going to be 11th and 12th of October. And we just now know that Target is doing their week-long sales starting October 1st to get a head start on Amazon doing those days there. So how I would look at this and go, yes, we already saw surveys that people are shopping for the holidays already. So I saw a survey 2 weeks ago that said majority, I think it was 25-30% of shoppers are already started here. Doesn't mean they're going to end by the end of November, but I look at that Amazon Big Days deal this year, October 11th and 12th. I look at that and go, that should be your official start to the holiday shopping season. Target's going to get a jump on that. People are shopping now, myself included, but kind of that mid-October is when you get going here. So what we're looking to the right of this online chart here, what we can see is that first arrow that starts to slowly slide up. November 11th last year was the very last day until December 16th, where online sales dropped below $3 billion a day. So you've got really this 4+ week window, 4.5 week window, where online sales every single day of the week will be $3 billion or more. I expect the exact same thing this year, and that does certainly coincides with that early start to the shopping season. Now, 12/12, so December 12th is when that drop, that arrow you start to see going down to the right. That's when it started to drop, but it was until 12/16 where it finished under $3 billion, and it's actually $2.8 billion. So it was pretty close, but that's where it dropped, and it stayed below that, with the low point coming 2 days before Christmas Day, so December 23rd. And that bottomed out at $1.2 billion. And then you can see it picks up again. So we'll talk about here in just a second, the day after Christmas, but that last week it's going to pick up. I'm sure you've seen that with your own numbers in previous years as well. So when I look at this, I go, okay, Amazon's big day deals, second week of October, official start to the holiday season. By November 11th, you should be off and running, because every single day is going to be fast and furious. Capture the sales, but we still have good sales day before that. And then 12/16, 12/17, whatever it corresponds to this year, is where you're going to kind of get that low period, those last minute shoppers. You can still move some product, but it's going to be a little tougher to get those massive sales. So we've got this 4 or 5 week window we really want to crunch everything into. Now, if I compare that to how email and SMS perform as well. So a lot of data here. I'm not going to go through every single piece, but I'm going to try to just call out the highlights. And then after the fact, you can look at the screen here and kind of analyze things. So I looked at email orders from the last couple of years, and then saw the trend very similar, but last year's orders. So these are orders generated directly from email marketing and Omnisend. So the 5 best days of the season last year, so November, December, all fell in November, and 9 of the 10 best days fell in November. So it's another sign to say we need to capture them early And the day after Christmas, so December 26th last year, if we're looking at December, was the second best day in December. So we could see from an email standpoint, we're going to be fast and furious in November. But also once we see those natural declines, but once we get the Christmas day, we can start driving some sales there the day after. It's going to second best day of email marketing. Now, if we're looking at the low end of the orders, 7 of the 10 lowest days came in December, mostly on weekend days. So Saturday, and by weekends, I mean Saturdays and Sundays. So Fridays are still pretty hot days throughout November and December. So does that mean you shouldn't send on weekends? And I would say no, and I'll tell you why here in just a minute. But I think there's an opportunity there because remember, weekends might be lower days, but the chart we just saw, people are still shopping online. They're still spending $3 billion a day. So we know people are shopping, lower email send volume, tail wags the dog a little bit. Lower email send volume, lower email orders, but we've got an opportunity here. And if we look at the same thing from an SMS side, and I'll talk about SMS a little later in the presentation, but I wanted to group this stuff now. Again, like email, we see 8 of the best days fell in November from an SMS order standpoint. But ironically, Cyber Monday was the 7th best day. So we see these other days kind of overtake Cyber Monday here. And again, the day after Christmas, a hot day. So it was the best day from an SMS order standpoint in all of December. And then again, if we go to the opposite side, what are the least performing days? Well, 9 of the 10 least were in December. A lot of those were right before Christmas Day. But again, weekends, most of those poor days fell on weekends. So again, do we have an opportunity on the weekends? I would say absolutely yes. And I'll talk about this a little bit more, but there is an opportunity for you to send on weekends. Don't be scared. People are shopping on weekends. I'm shopping on weekends. People are doing it. So look at those as an opportunity. And it doesn't mean you need to send 3 emails every single weekend day, right? But we need to find the opportunity to kind of stay in front of people in the inbox, stay in front of people, break through that noise on their text screens, and we'll be okay there. So if I were planning my season, this is the general construct of how I would look at it from a sense standpoint. Again, your business model and the products you sell and how your market's going to be a little bit different. So take this with a grain of salt, but see how you can adapt it to your own. But this is just me coming with a general product that I'm selling. And I would go mid-October is really when I'm going to start. So we're a couple of weeks away from that. But again, look at the Amazon Days deals as kind of the official start. Market's going to get some sales in there that first week of October, though. By November 1st, I'm ready to go here. So maybe some deeper discounts, maybe some product bundles. I can test some different incentives here because, again, I've got that first 9-10 days where sales is going to be good. They're going up a little bit, but they're not going to be that $3 billion every single day. Some of those days might be, but it's not going to be consistent. So look at some of those ways we can get some of those early sales, but also protect our margins a little bit. And that's where those bundles come in. And the benefit here, if you can get them shopping early, it doesn't mean they're going to be done shopping. They're going to come back likely to purchase again, either from you or someone else, but their shopping's not done. By November 12th, I'm off and running this year. And this is where I begin some or all of my Black Friday promotions. And I just started early and say, hey, these are the best deals. But I'm going to use FOMO here. I'm really going to use that fear of missing out. And I'm going to promote in my messaging that, these are the best days, the best deals we're offering this year. Let them know clearly, whenever that time comes, let them know clearly, but also push the inventory is limited. The products won't last long. And I'll give you a personal caveat here. So my wife's birthday is a week before Christmas Day. So I'm shopping for 2 different things, but 2 very specific things around this time of year. Last year was the one exception to the rule because I learned my lesson, but the 2 previous years before that, I would look at products and I know what I want to buy her. And I'm going, hey, I'm going to wait a couple of weeks for this thing to go on sale. And inevitably about 75-80% of those things I go back to purchase come Black Friday week or a couple of days before where I know the sales are dropping and either the size is sold out or the product is sold out. And then I'm back to going, oh, do I get a knockoff of this thing? Do I do this? And last year, I just learned my lesson. I go, you know what? I'll pay the extra 10%. I know I'm getting 10% more because I sign up for all these emails and I can look back and see exactly what the offer is going to be. But I'll pay the 10% more because I know I want to get the product there. But then inevitably I go and shop and get something else the following, whenever it goes on sale to complement the item. So think about telling people, but use that fear of missing out. November 18th and 19th this year, it's going to be Sunday or Monday, respectively. That is the Sunday, Monday of Black Friday week or Black Friday, Thanksgiving. these standalone days for most brands are kind of gone. We've transitioned to Black Friday week, best days, best deals all week because people are shopping. They're getting excited. These are hot and heavy. So I would do a Black Friday week deal, use multiple messages here. By the first 2 weeks of December, keep pushing, use that sense of urgency, use fear of missing out, try to move some inventory. So you can do some sales on things that you thought would sell better earlier in the year, try to push them through, move some of that inventory there. And that week right before Christmas, this is where it's going to drop down a little bit, but this is where you can try to clear out excess inventory, maybe run exclusive sales for product-specific things or bundles, push, obviously, shipping deadlines. If you can get it there in time, gift cards is the time for those procrastinators, get gift cards. And then you're going to have this couple days lull there right around Christmas Day. But Christmas Day, you kind of start to see that uptick again. So that final week, again, you can push through what you really wanted, self-gifting, work those closeouts, right? Move some of that inventory out, maximize for return optimization. So this kind of goes in to get what you really wanted, but look to see how we can maximize what we're getting there. And this is kind of how I would plan it out. You can move these dates a little bit. Of course, I told you earlier that shopping is going to start in early October. It's already started. I've got mid-October as my start date. So I would just use the next couple of weeks to play around with things. I don't think you need to go head-to-head with Amazon or Target exclusively, but no, people are shopping. So if you can play around with some incentives. So that's how I would look at my calendar standpoint. So hopefully it gives you some direction, but it's hopeful. So we know when to send, how to send. I want to talk a little bit about what to send. So this is really going to be around things you can put in your messaging content. And again, this can be specific to your brand, but some of these things are tried and true and would apply really to anyone, especially if you're not discounting or your brand that does not discount whatsoever. So challenges for price. So I got this from an eMarketer survey that was done just a couple of weeks ago, and it said 69% of shoppers said price is a top factor. We're seeing mixed signs with the economy. Interest rates are high, inflation is still high, but it's waxing and waning, coming down. Every time we get ahead, oil prices jump again. But price is on people's minds right now, for better or worse. And 80%, so 4 in 5 customers said price might drive them to try a new brand or store. Now, it's good news and bad news. 1, if you offer lower price, it might be good for you. But 2, this is where you want to combine this with other value adds that you're offering and other tactics like sense of urgency and things like this, because we want to focus on value and intent more than price. You compete on price, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but that return customer is going to be tough to kind of maintain because they're always going to be looking for that price. So value and intent is what I'm looking at. So with all your messages, and I would do this year round as well. If anyone has been to one of these webinars before, you've heard me talk about this, but promote your value adds clearly and visibly in your messaging. And what you want to do is you want to overcome price challenges, especially if you're not the deepest discounted price, with high value. And the ways you can do that is, do you offer free shipping or free expedited shipping? And there could be a minimum order on there, but you want to promote those things because we saw it last year. It was a big rise that people want free shipping. We saw a lot of brands shift last year to making that a promotion all on its own. So rather than saying 15% of free shipping, they would just say, hey, free shipping for the next 24 hours, no minimums. And people generally spend above whatever minimums you have there anyways, because they want to maximize their free shipping. But that is a value. Speed of shipping counts. We saw a study earlier this year that said speed of shipping is becoming just as important as free shipping is to consumers, because free shipping is somewhat standard here. So use these things. Extended return policies or friendly return policies. These are huge for customers, especially if you're in apparel or something. But we're gift giving season now. So if you have 30-day returns and they're purchasing something and they're not gifting it for 20 days and that person has to wear it, I've fallen victim to this before. And then you try to go to return, like, oh, your 30-day return window is up. I stopped shopping for brands like that. So maybe think about extending it if you can for the holiday season to 60 days or 90 days. What you'll find is very few people likely will return products that long after. But if they do, usually there's a significant product problem with it. And you can de-escalate that, save the customer, make them more loyal to you. So think about all these things that you can promote to people in your messaging on your website. If you have live chat or you want to look at staffing live chat just for the holiday season, it's a game saver. And then use that social proof. So focus on star ratings or customer testimonials in your messaging. And this is campaign messaging and automated messaging. So star ratings or testimonials talk about product quality or product fit in an abandoned cart message or browse abandonment message. Things go a long way. So this is how I would add to my messaging. Send strategy. This is always a question we get. So how many times should I send a week? How many times should I send a day? Is it okay to send multiple on a day? And here's how I look at it. Daily or semi-daily, absolutely okay. You want to send 2 to 3 messages a day on some of those tentpole days, absolutely. Use SMS to your advantage here as well. So if you don't want to send 3 emails, but you want to communicate 3 times, maybe that third communication or that middle communication goes to SMS subscribers only. You send 2 emails here. I mentioned weekends being an opportunity. They are absolutely an opportunity for you. So low email and SMS send volume days, but people are still shopping. So for some reason, they're scared about Saturdays and Sundays. I don't know if these carryover myths about days are bad, but we see them be successful all year round. Holidays are no different. If you send to them, you engage them, you have a better chance to get through that inbox or text screen, and you can drive purchases there. And then use automation to your advantage. Now, I'm going to talk about automation here in a minute, but use it to your advantage. And think about where the high intent comes from. So we have browse abandonment messages to fill in shopping intent. So if you don't want to send a message every single day, but you say, hey, leading up to those big days, I want to send 4 times a week, but I wish I could send more, but I don't want to, bother my customers. This is where automations can come in. So we have browse abandonment or cart abandonment that are only sending to those people who are actively shopping, and then abandon, you can try to get them back, but it's going to fill in some of those send gaps there. So use them to your advantage, promote value and intent, and you're going to win on, you're going to win on price on some, you're going to lose on price on some, but a lot of times the value, I will pay more knowing I get something a little bit better from there. So that's how I would look at it from a send standpoint. Let's talk about automation for a second, because I just mentioned it. We want to fill in some of those gaps. But what do we want to do from an automation standpoint? Because there's tons of automation going. We want to adjust our strategy a little bit for this time of year. So how I look at it is, how valuable is automation? So if you're familiar with our stats reports, we put these out the first half of this year. We saw a massive uptick in the percentage of orders versus percentage of send. So 47% of all email orders in the first half, 2023, came from automated emails, which accounted for just over 2.5% of total email sends. So the power is there. Typically, this is around 35% on 2 to 3% of sends. So saw a little bit of an uptick. However, with those automated messages, welcome, browse abandonment, cart abandonment, drove 87% of automated orders. And you might say, well, should I send the other ones? Why are these? These drive more because it's value and intent. If I sign up for an email program or even sign up for an SMS program, I'm engaged with your brand. I'm probably there to shop. So that's why these messages, a lot of times, if you promise a discount for signing up as well, will convert people. They might be signing up to see if they get a discount, but they're there to shop. Browse abandonment, same thing. Something in their life is taking them to your website to check out products, either specific products, category. It doesn't matter how they got there, but this is an opportunity to re-engage those customers and bring them back. And cart abandonment is pretty obvious, right? They've already carted products. You know what they want. They might be looking for a discount. They might be price shopping somewhere else. Again, we saw price as a factor. Cart abandonment, email, and SMS can really come in to save you there. And that's why these 3 messages drive so much. And they're absolutely essential for any email program, but especially during the holiday seasons in my book. So here's how we look at some of these numbers here around the Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. So I broke this down looking at the first 14 days of November last year. And we saw, again, that uptick last year around November 11th, where every day was $3 billion in online sales. And again, cart abandonment, we saw the sends increase 52% from the year before, orders uptick 66%. And they're all around the same thing. Sends, you can see 50% greater, 100% greater. And the orders are upticking 68%, 86%. These are all value. And the reason they're sending more is because more people are shopping, right? They're converting more because people are looking for deals. They're looking for ways to engage here. So on the right side, you can see Cyber 10. The Cyber 10 is this thing. I look at the data here and I go, okay, there's a 10-day period from the Sunday of Black Friday week through Giving Tuesdays, which is the day after Cyber Monday. There's this 10-day span there. So we see usually 7 or 8 of these days are the top 10 days of the entire shopping year for online sales. So you could see the conversion rates of the automated messages during this 10-day period, the percentage, the leftover sales. But really what I'm looking at here is you don't need to look at all the numbers here. You can see the conversion rates are high. The very top line is scheduled campaigns. So they've gone up as well. 0.7 to 0.8, moving up to 0.1, right? So we've seen uptick with scheduled campaigns. The worst performing automated message during the Cyber 10 period still converts better than a scheduled campaign, which means they're timely, they're relevant, they work for people. Birthday messages, it's tough here because, yeah, you might send my wife a birthday message a week before Christmas. Does it help convert her? I don't know, maybe not, but these are just things we have going, probably less important for the holiday season. Point is, automation converts better than scheduled messages because they're timely, relevant, but they focus on the customer intent here. So hopefully this page is a little useful for you after the fact to go back and look at it. You can find this data also in our stats report for our BFCM 2022 stats reports if you want to dig around and kind of manipulate some stuff there. So it is available for you. So here's how I would adjust my holiday automation here. So look at the discounts. And this is always a big one, right? So do you normally offer 10% for signing up for a welcome message, or 10% for recapturing an abandoned cart message, or even browse abandonment if you discount those? But your holiday sales are always going to be like 30% off, right? You want to make those more aligned. And sure, your percentage off might change based on the week, the day, the promotion, whatever it is, but try to make them more in line to make them more enticing. And some of the ways you could do that, you could see on the screen here, but put a different sort of tier in there. So welcome message, hey, here's a 3-set tier for how much you want to spend and save here, or browse abandonment, maybe bundle something together, or put a minimum spend on it. Hey, 25% off your order if you spend X, Y, Z. So you can try to protect your profit margins a little bit. It also adjusts you or kind of helps you out a little bit, not knowing what your promotion is going to be, but it's more than the 10%. And here's a story I always tell people. I made a first order from a brand probably 5 years ago now, and it was on Black Friday. So every year since, I get this purchase anniversary email. Hey, welcome. It's your 1-year anniversary, Greg. I'm making your first purchase with us. Here's 10% off your next purchase. And it comes on Black Friday. And the store is always offering 30, 40% off anyways. So sure, I open the message. It's nice that I get an anniversary message on that day, but it doesn't do anything for me. I'm not going to buy anything off 10% because you're already offering 40. So this is maybe where having a tier discount or a bundle or something like that comes in handy. Or you can simply try no discounts, especially if you're a discounting brand. So focus on those value adds, customer service, satisfaction, return policies, all those things. Don't offer discount and use it. Rely on your terminology from a sense of urgency. Hey, these products won't last long, and just try to get people back to the site. And maybe the site, then they can use whatever offer is advertised on the site. Think about from a timing standpoint, adjusting your timing. So shortening delays. If you have a welcome message going one every 2 days over a 3-message span, maybe you just want to do 3 messages over 3 days, or cut it down to 2 messages over 2 days. Welcome message, the next day you send something and let them get on with their days. Think about browse abandonment, cart abandonment. You might have a 3rd cart abandonment or 4th cart abandonment message going at 4 or 5 days after. Maybe you just want to do 1, 2 the first day, 1 the next day, and kind of call it a day, or add an SMS to it. So think about things like shortening the timing there, because we know, people are buying for the holidays. They get excited. They want to pull that trigger quicker than maybe usual. So we want to jump on there while we can. Then if you can, use some holiday themed templates that we offer, or put some holiday specific messaging in there. So it could be having a little call out for a stocking stuffer section, or more product recommendations, or customer favorites of the season, whatever it really could be there at that point. These are the things that how we can maybe make them a little more personal to the season. You just need to go back and kind of tweak anything after the season, but could also be there. And then, of course, add SMS. SMS is a perfect way to cut through. If they are signed up for your SMS program, they want to receive the messages. Don't have to blast them to death, but they can drive tons of revenue for you. And I'm going to talk about SMS here in just a second. So here are some of the adjustments I would make. But again, if you make adjustments to any message, welcome, cart, browse abandonment, those are the 3 I'd focus on. Of course, cross sells, upsells, those things you can do as well. But the 3 primary ones, going to be driving the majority of your sales for you. And that brings me to email plus SMS. As you know, strong alone, beautiful together. So let's talk about SMS for the season. And first, adoption is really what we're going to be focusing on. So I had the stat before, 48% lift in the first half this year compared to the first half of 2022. But you can see the growth year over year the last couple of years. So this isn't slowing down. It is a full-fledged marketing channel now. It's just about using it maybe more strategically or in a better way for you to kind of get a handle on and figure out what the value of that is. So if we look at that Cyber 10 period again, this is how sends racked up from Omnisend customers last year during that 10-day period. So we can see Sunday started off, we got high on, from that Sunday, we increased a little bit. And then the day before Cyber Monday, it upticked a little bit more. But remember your top order days for SMS. So Black Friday, Saturday after, Thanksgiving Day, and then the Monday before Cyber Monday. So these were your 4 best SMS order days. So, but we could also see the Friday before that. So we're seeing some success here. Monday of Black Friday week, again, is the opportunity. We saw the uptick in sends there. Most people are going to be doing Black Friday week sales. So this is an opportunity for you because you saw the Monday before Black Friday. Look, it doesn't have the highest sends here, but it was the 4th highest send day of, or fourth highest order day of the holiday season for SMS last year. So got a lot of value here. So of course, Black Friday, Thanksgiving Day, Cyber Monday, these are going to be high send days. We can see Cyber Monday is a little bit lower. Start early in the week. Early in the week, I think, is going to be your opportunity there for you. And of course, weekends throughout. So you're looking for small ways to kind of get through which days to kind of break through the clutter on Cyber Monday or through the holiday season. I can't talk today. It's early. So this is the way to do it. Kind of look at Black Friday. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of SMS. We're also going to see a lot of email that day. So I would use both channels to try to capture attention wherever you can. They might miss the email, see the SMS, vice versa, scan the SMS, but to go to the email. You can always use SMS to direct people to your email as well, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But this is a really good opportunity for you. So, hey, check out all our deals over at our email channel. If they're not signed up for email, and they're not going to know the deals, but it might prompt them to sign up for email at that point. So here's some ways we can use SMS. Of course, we can drive them to email. We can use SMS only offers, which I would recommend throughout the year, especially October. If you want to play into a little bit, see how much value you think you can get out of it in October, early November, kind of when those sales are picking up, it's still lower. We have the opportunity there. And the other thing no one ever really talks about with SMS is, email is always going to get unsubscribes to it. It's the nature of the email business. And I always say, if you want to unsubscribe, great, because I'm not wasting to send emails to people. However, you get a lot of people now that sign up for SMS. Email is not their jam anymore. They prefer SMS on the side. So you might get an email unsubscribe. And traditionally, you would use that email address and you do some paid retargeting on social media or paid search, whatever it might be, to retarget those customers there. It's a lot more expensive than sending an SMS messages. So we can group that data together, right? You've got your email and SMS data all grouped together under one contact. They're unsubscribed from email. We can use the SMS to drive off to them at a much cheaper cost to retarget that person than social media might be there. So use it as an alternative to email subscriptions. Then a couple different ideas for types of SMS sales. You could do flash sales of the year. Most SMS are read within minutes. They're acted upon from a pretty good percentage standpoint, but even if they're seen, right, and they're not clicked on, they can go there. But flash sales are perfect for it because it's so time sensitive. So, 24 hours, 12 hours only, 3 hours only flash sale. And this might be a good way to move excess inventory if you've got some leftover products later in the year. Hey, sweaters for the next 4 hours, 40% off, right? And you can drop them that way. Last chance reminders makes tons of sense. So instead of sending an email 3 hours before your Black Friday deals or Black Friday week deals expire, you can just blast off an SMS to them. And of course, use social proof in your messages as well. So, again, you can showcase star ratings, you can showcase customer testimonials in your SMS messages to build some of that value and cater to intent. And then, of course, automation. So talked about adding automations or SMS to your automations. From an email standpoint, cart abandonment, browse, welcome. let them get there timely, relevant. They are shopping, so we try to capture those as well. And we do see that workflows with email and SMS together do convert better and drive more sales than just standalone workflows do. So here's just a couple examples of ways you can use some of those I just talked about. Here's flash sales on the left, last chance reminders on the right. So flash sales, they're great for moving inventory, create a sense of urgency to shop because it's a limited time window. You can use these to test incentives and promotions leading up to the season as well. So, hey, I'm not sure this deal is going to work. I'm not sure this deal is going to work. What's going to be better for us? Throw them out here, test them out, and especially if it is a flash sale and you want to do different promotions. You can see how it kind of entices people to shop. And then you can do offers just for SMS subscribers. So, hey, SMS exclusive, 20% off the next 3 hours. Get it while it's hot. Use it for last chance reminders. Again, you can give sales bumps to regular promotions. They don't have to only be on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or these key days here. It could be November 14th. Be like, hey, this promotion is doing pretty well for us. We don't want to send another email. Can we squeeze a little more juice out of this lemon? The SMS can pave the way there. Use it to cut through the noise, high volume shopping days, and of course, create a sense of urgency. And then we talk about early access and social proof here. So early access, of course, it provides exclusivity to sign up for your SMS program, which I love. You can promote that on your email sign up as well, your pop up on your website. So SMS only offers, sign up for them. Obviously, creates a sense of urgency because there's a limited time window on that early access. And of course, you can use this to test promotions as well if you want to. And then social proof, this really just helps build credibility and trust with your brand. Might overcome some of those obstacles to conversion as well. So it's like, hey, I want to get the sweater for my wife. I don't know if a medium or a small is going to fit, right? And you can look at the social proof. You can look at returns, all those 5-star ratings. Hey, have a testimonial on there. It says, hey, the size or the fit was spot on, blah, blah, blah. And hopefully you help prevent bracketing from going on there. Creates excitement about products. 5-star products, these will sell out fast. And so now we're combining fear of missing out with social proof, with a sense of urgency. Like, this is all great here. So think about ways you can build credibility, kind of overcome some of those price challenges with social proof in your SMS messages as well. And then from an automation standpoint, here's a couple different examples for you just for giggles, but welcome, shopping cart abandonment, browse abandonment, I talked about. Transactional messages, here's another big one as well. Transactional messages can drive tons of revenue. We see with SMS as well. They actually do drive a fair amount of sends and sales. So, it just creates a better user experience as well. I got 2 SMS this morning from a delivery I'm getting today. Hey, it's out for delivery. Be sure to keep an eye out. And during the holidays, when porch pirates start picking up and you are losing track of how many packages you got coming on, knowing something is on the way, knowing it got delivered, knowing maybe there's a delay, right? Instantaneous notifications of a delay and customer service options. These are all awesome things to be doing here. And then from an SMS standpoint, if I look at cart abandonment, browse abandonment, we want to jump strike while the iron's hot. So you might want to jump those to like 30 days or so. So tons of different options you can do here from an SMS standpoint. So a lot of information, a somewhat short period of time, done your whole planning for you. No, I'm just teasing. So here's kind of how I look at it. Start mid-October, early October if you want to kind of play around with some incentives or play around with some sense of urgency on this. Hey, 12 hours only, or if you're missing out, get it before it's gone. By November 1st, I'd be running. Mid-November, you should be at a full-on sprint. I'd look beyond standalone days. Look at Black Friday week, Cyber Week, whatever you want to call it. But when you start things early like that, let them know in your messaging, this is it. This is the best deal we are sending. Get them before they sell out. You're not going to miss anything. I've already gotten a few of those, from certain things this year already, and they're just going full bore. But I started getting those last year, about 2 weeks before, really picked up that Monday of Black Friday week, which people are just saying, hey, this is the best deals we're going to offer. Use automation. It's going to convert sales for you. It's going to fill in gaps of sends that you have there, so which is awesome. SMS can cut through the noise. You can use it to retarget at a cheaper cost than paid social retargeting. You can give you sales bumps on your messaging, and then we want to combine email and SMS together. So again, strong alone, beautiful together, but make them work together in a harmonious way possible. So again, stay prepared. We got you covered. Live support. We've got templates for you. We've got subject line testers. We've got subject line generators. We got everything you need here in Omnisend. So be sure to use us. So hopefully got through a lot of information in a short period of time. I see a lot of chatter going on. Haven't read it yet. Questions. So I'm going to take a moment. We'll pause through some of this stuff. Use the Q&A portal to see what we have here and this Omnisend. So I'm going to stop sharing so you can see my beautiful face. So we have a question here from Regina. Regina, welcome. Thank you for the question. Said just mentioned the analytics show December 26th is one of the highest shopping days in December. I wonder if there were specific data showing if the majority of sales were attributed to gift card purchases. So Regina, I do not have that information for you. So what I can tell you is we've seen year over year, December 26th as being a relatively large shopping day. We saw kind of a really uptick last year compared to the years before, but I think shopping is just extending now. We get some of those things. So I would say December 26th, you might have people who receive gift cards to the brand coming to repurchase or to replenish those. It's also been a historically high return shopping day. So it's usually one of the highest returns days of the year. So people get products. Usually they go to a physical store, they return them there. So those things are all hands on deck. I would guess you see a fair amount of that online, probably less so, but I think people are just going, okay, I wanted this thing. I might have this gift card, I might not, but we're just going to continue to keep shopping here because, I think it's the place we're in, not only in society, but just the world now. It's been a rough couple of years for people in general. We're getting back to normalcy as my wife sits downstairs with COVID today. So, we're getting back to normalcy here, but the economy thing is real and people are looking a lot more for things of enjoyment. So when they're looking for something for Christmas or whatever holiday, if they're celebrating Hanukkah or something, they don't get what they were looking for, or they were looking, hey, this is great, but I would love this color here. Maybe they go on shopping there. So I don't have data for you, but it's historically been a high returns day. I think the gift card purchasing and people redeeming those is big, but I think people are just shopping in general. Okay, one from Rob here. What's your take on sending design emails versus text-based emails? Does it make a huge difference in conversion? So, Rob, I do these podcasts, shameless plug here. They're on a YouTube channel with my colleague Gabe. We've known each other for years. And we did an episode a few weeks ago. We do these topics. We talk about them for 3 minutes and move on, kind of PTI style up here. Familiar with that from the US show. But we talked about this specific topic. HTML emails versus text-based emails. And we keep seeing in message boards and Slack channels and all these things about people going, hey, send text-based emails. Here's how I look at it. I think you're better off sending a design email versus a text-based email. One, if they're checking on mobile phones, the majority of people are doing, they're not reading tons of text here. Does it mean it's going to fail for you? No, it can work. I get some of these from, it looks like, I forgot the brand name, but I get some of these from a brand every year. Comes from their CEO. And it's like, hey, here's a paragraph. These are the deals we're offering. Here's a link to it. You can get over there. And I stopped reading it. I'm like, just give me the information. People, obviously, you've seen the stats, like people respond to visuals a lot more. It's prettier, but it just comes across on your phone. I don't want to read chunks of text, especially on days where I'm getting bombarded with emails and text messages. Keep them short, keep them sweet. But the emails, you can use a lot more graphic design if you're design emails. Personally, if I were running a program, you could try a text-based one. I would avoid it as much as possible. Images, call to action, they see the discount, they can decide within a second what they want to do. If they want to scroll, they can scroll. But we generally see that design emails are going to outperform text-based ones over the long run. So play around with it. I just wouldn't stake your reputation on it if it were me. Good question, though. Question from Kaylin. Hope I pronounced that right, Kaylin. If you're scheduling one email per day, how would you use or not use boosters? So boosters, for those that don't know, also called remails. These are where you're automatically scheduling the email to resend to anyone who didn't open the previous message. It's a really good question, one that we've been getting for years. Here's how I would do it. Look at boosters from the standpoint of how important is the message to send. So let's just say I have 10,000 people on my list. I have 8,000 people don't open the message. what's the value that I think I'm getting out of sending to those 8,000? This is where segments might come in handy. So maybe you only want a booster to people who have opened within the last 30 days, because you might have a good chunk of that list who has not opened in 90, 120, 150 days. So be a little more strategic with it. The other thing you might want to play around with is cut a segment of people who opened the first message but did not convert, because we know they've seen the message. We know they've clicked on the message. And this is where you could maybe do click activity as well if you really want to hammer down on it. But they opened the message, something didn't quite get them there. Let's resend it to them and see if we can re-engage them on that standpoint, or you could do it clicks. So I wouldn't be scared of sending boosters to non-openers. I wouldn't do it every day. If you're sending every day, so 7 days a week, and that's all you're sending, you might want to do a booster maybe 2 times that week. If it's going well for you, add a third. You're going to give people a break there. So maybe you do it on a Monday, a Wednesday, Friday, just throwing it out there. We know Fridays are good. Mondays are usually pretty decent sales days. But you might want to play around with the Saturday or Sunday as well, just knowing there. So I would use them. I wouldn't use them every single day of the week, but maybe try 2-3 times a week, test them out, but also look at those niche segments. So people that opened but didn't click, or people that clicked on the message but didn't convert, right? And use it that way. Beauty there is you send fewer emails, so fewer people see that second email, but you know they're engaged with the message. So hopefully that helps you. But thank you for that question. Can you tell? So this is from I'm gonna butcher your name, so I apologize. Mubaris, I butchered that. So feel free to chat the correct pronunciation. So my apologies in advance. But can you tell if we should make informed decisions on open rates or click rates? What's better? I'm always a proponent of clicks over opens. I think it's more targeted, right? There's more. It tells you about engagement with people here. So yeah, I might have opened the message. Great. I didn't click. Why didn't I click? Well, maybe I wasn't in the mood. Maybe I didn't like your messaging. If I clicked, there's some engagement there. Something that message got me going there. I always look at clicks over opens. I think opens can be misleading. All right, and I'll give you an example of this. If I have, let's use 10,000 contacts and I send to all 10,000, and I've got 7,000 that haven't opened in 6 months. All right, my open rate's going to be low. But then I have a client that says, hey, I want to get 30% open rates. What do? I take a segment of people who opened in the last 30 days and I only send the message to them. And now I've got a 65% open rate. Good. Oh, man, I got a 65% open rate. All I did was manipulate the data at that point. A click is a click, right? I've got people who I know are engaged with it. So I wouldn't disregard open rates. I think it's still valuable to look at. I would weight click rates more. Also depends on what your goal is. Is it to get just the image and the brand name in front of people, or is it to engage? Of course, we know the goal of an email is to generate a conversion, but there might be a specific instance where you want to announce something. Hey, Black Friday deals are coming. You don't care if they click. You're here for those eyeballs, and that might make the decision. But I would always defer to clicks as being more valuable than opens, because it tells you a little more about customer intent at that point. Specific use cases might vary, but that's how I would approach it. You guys are burning me out here. I'm trying to catch my breath. All right, what would you, this is from Helen. Helen, thank you for your question. What would you say to brands running ethical businesses that try to prevent overconsumption whilst needing to stay alive through the holidays? I get anxiety every BFCM. Helen, this is a tough one because I don't know the specifics of the type of business. Maybe you can chat it or something, just types of products you sell or something like that. It's a concern, but here's how I would go with it. Right, this is the opportunity where some brands will sacrifice margin for customer acquisition this time of year. Some will not, but it is a very popular strategy to do that. And if you kind of have to weigh the pros versus the cons. If I can generate 5% new customers at this time of year, that over the next 12 months, I can do a good job of getting them to reduce waste and be more ethical by converting a customer, that might outweigh the benefits of the negatives in the short run with trying to drive and sell more products and things like that. So, sell sustainable ballet wear for ballerinas, dancers. Right. So I can see the problem here. People grow. I've got 2 kids of my own and they're growing every day, and I'm buying new shoes every 2 weeks, and it's setting me to need 4 jobs. right? So I get that. And usually when you outgrow it, you might donate it, you might chuck in the trash, do something with it, hopefully Facebook Marketplace or something where you can sell it. But a tough one. Outweigh the manage the pros versus cons is how I do it. Can I get more customers coming in to educate them more in the next 12 months, to tell a friend? I'm assuming ballet is a pretty close-knit niche where people talk to other people pretty well there. So, that's probably something where you can get some of that word of mouth, provide a good experience, but hopefully educate them up front, educate them with all these different, this is where your value adds as a company come in and putting in across all your messaging comes in. Browse abandonment, cart abandonment. Hey, you're not just buying a XYZ, you're buying a sustainable XYZ. And then your post-purchase series, which hopefully you have one, but if not, add it to your 2024 list. Post-purchase series can help educate people. So I would balance the pros and cons. I wouldn't be scared about customer acquisition. You're running a business, you want to sell products, hopefully educate in the long run. All right. All right, so this is a good one, which I have a pseudo answer for you. So this comes from, I'm assuming this is maybe a brand name, Light Up K. Do you see the difference in spending habits by each generation? For example, a difference between millennials and Gen Z. And then, do you have data or comment on this issue? Would younger generations pay much less attention to email marketing? My concern is that some may see one email a day or even 2 or 3 a week, and it could be seen as invasive by some. I did a terrible job reading that one. Difference between generations. So yes and no. And here's how I look at it. So a couple of years ago, I did a presentation out in Las Vegas on marketing to Gen Z. And I had a bunch of data at that time. What we found is the same things you're seeing around. They care a little more about sustainability. They care about this and that. They want you to be a little more straight focused. But we also saw in that data that they enjoyed email marketing more so than older generations. And I think it's just the nature that they were growing up. And I saw some data about 6-7 months ago showing very similar things. So how I would look at it is this way. Gen Z is in the workforce already. So we act like they're 4 years old now, but they are in the workforce. They are graduating college or university, and they are already working. So it's not always younger people. They've grown up with email. They definitely skew more to texting. I saw a stat today. It was the average Gen Z person gets between 350 and 500 phone notifications on a daily basis. So if you're worried about 2-3 emails a week coming into that 500 a day, I wouldn't worry about it. This is the beauty of email. If they want to unsubscribe, let them unsubscribe, right? It's not their jam. SMS might be their jam, might not be. The thing that we just don't know is some people like email because they can choose to ignore it when they want, and they can look at it when it's there and when they want to. That's why I love landing in a promotions tab in a Gmail folder. It's a promotion. I'm going there to shop. So I wouldn't be worried about the generational differences. We see very little generational differences when it comes to SMS adoption. Yes, baby boomers are adopting SMS at just as high clip as those millennials. Things like this, I would not worry about it. So if you're concerned about it and you have that data on people, this is where I'll give you the consultant's cop out and tell you to test it, right? Send those people a couple times a week and then take that segment, send them once a week and see if that performance improves. I think you'll be fine sending 2 or 3 a week. Let them unsubscribe if they want to, but use those other channels. Use SMS because I think you'll find some success there. As far as specific data, up to date, beyond kind of the anecdotal or what I read this morning, I don't have much for you. Follow up me via email. I'll see if I can find something or point you in the right direction there. I would not worry about it though. I wonder if there is a general e-commerce industry data on spending and email usage. I don't know. eMarketer is usually the best place for this. You can, a lot of it's paid and gated. A lot of it is not though. So if you do email eMarketer, also Insider Intelligence, they have lots of charts on millennials, Gen Z, these generational cohorts and how they respond to different things and e-commerce. So check out that eMarketer. Insider Intelligence. They do a great job with this stuff. I check them quite often for these charts, and you'll find a lot of generational cohort conversation there, especially when it comes to e-commerce, sorry. Okay, here's one from Rashmi. Hopefully I got that right. I have one product. What tips do you have for me? And it is luggage. All right. Here's how I would go. No, I don't have any tips. This is a tough one. This is the old joke. You walk down, you see a luggage store on the side of the road, walk into the mind, like, how does that person stay? How much luggage are they selling? Right. They obviously the same with mattresses, right? We see those jokes all the time. I think luggage is tough. I travel a fair amount. I don't have a beautiful luggage set. Something breaks, I buy a new one. I try to pack light. Here's the go. We've seen, and I'm sure you've seen this, Rashmi, that, oh, perfect. Got the name right. So we've seen where purchasing of products over the last year and a half, not necessarily has gone down, but there's been a larger uptick in people wanting to do experiential things, right? They're taking more trips, and it could be local trips. It doesn't have to be international. We just saw from the US side, most international trips, I think last week, that we've seen in the last year or two. So people are starting to go here. I would focus on the gift giving aspect of it. Really focus your messaging around the value props of your company. So do you have satisfaction guarantees? Do you have really extended return policies? Do you have a lead into social proof and testimonials? This is the best piece of luggage I've ever had. So stylish, so chic. I often get complimented or stopped in the airport when I'm traveling, whatever it might be, and really try to sell the experience of it versus selling the product of it. I know that's easy to say and easy to do, but when you have one product, it can be tough. But again, if you only have one product, I'm assuming there's maybe subsets of that product. Do you have a large one? Do you have a smaller size one? Do you have a carry-on like makeup bag or toiletry bag, whatever it might be? I'm sure there's some of those things in there, but sell the experience of it, sell the quality, sell the testimonials of it, and kind of sell the inherent value of it, and then focus on gift giving, right? So post-purchase messaging, or even your transactional messages, if you want to optimize them, which I would always recommend optimizing transactional messages, is to focus on that gift giving aspect of it. Hey, love your order, love the quality, tell a friend or gift it to a friend. And I would just try to do that. I mean, you're going to be somewhat stuck and limited based on that, especially if you're not doing deep discounts or discounts at all. It's going to be the product value. It's going to be selling the experience and selling the feeling behind it versus selling the product. And it's very much like a piece of exercise equipment, as bad as that sounds, right? They're not trying to sell the fact that there's 2 arm bars on an elliptical. They're trying to sell the benefits to it. Hey, live longer, lose weight, look better. They're trying to get the beach bod going. They're trying to sell the aesthetics of it and the value of it versus the actual features of it. So it's the best advice I can give you for right now. I'm sure I'll think of something in the middle of the night tonight. But feel free to follow up with me or connect with me on social, and I'll pass on any sort of other things I have for you. All right, one from Lori. I haven't read the question yet, so I'm hoping it's something I can answer. So Lori, should you send an SMS message and an email to the same customer on the same day, or shouldn't always be an SMS or an email, but not both? Great question, Lori. Get this all the time. I think it depends. Terrible answer for you. It depends. In general, it's going to depend. And here's the factors where I say it depends. How often you're sending emails. So if you're sending every single day, I would not send an email and SMS to everyone every day. I would defer to email every day, defer to SMS to only a couple times a week. I don't want to say you bombard people with SMS. Some people really like that. Holiday season, my phone blows up, and some brands send it to me every day, and it doesn't bother me as much. It bothers me when I purchase something and I keep getting them, but I gave a little more leeway during that time of year. So if you're sending, I would do an SMS. If you're doing that strategy, it's okay to send an email and SMS on the same day. No problems with it whatsoever, because not everyone's going to open and see the email. Not everyone's going to read through the SMS. So you're going to capture them. I just wouldn't do it every day. I'd maybe cap my SMS unless it's a major day like Black Friday, Cyber Monday that week. I would probably focus on like maybe 3 to 4 SMS a week. But think about where you can maybe want to give people a day off too. So, hey, I'm okay with 6 emails this week. Give people that day off. And maybe that's where you give a couple of days off for SMS on some of those, but you send SMS message on that email day off here. So you've got a lot of playing around to do with it. If you're sending, again, I would kind of cut the SMS to 3 to 4 a week per recipient that are signed up for it. But again, I would always give the advice, if they sign up for the both, it's a sign that they're okay getting both. So don't be scared of it. There's no fears with SMS. Just try to be smart with it and think about your own user experience. The other thing to think about is the SMS automations that you might have. So specifically like browse abandonment messages. So love SMS browse abandonment messages. I got one yesterday for like 10 minutes later, but like 30 minutes afterward, I love them. I think they're awesome. They re-engage me. But if you know that people get an email, they click, and then you've got a browse abandonment message setting to them as well, they're going to get another email and or SMS with it. You might want to look at a small segment of people that maybe got 3 SMS a week or 4 SMS a week and just kind of exclude them for the rest. So think about, again, filling in those gaps with automation and how that might apply to you. And I think that's one of the things to look at here. So, all right, I lost track of time. I've got time to stick around for a couple more minutes, but it is 11:04. So if you're hanging on, you're late to a meeting, you're welcome to go. We will send the recording to you via email, also on a YouTube page. If you want to stick around, of course, I'll give you about 5 more minutes. We'll answer some questions. Anything unanswered, we'll try to follow up with you afterward, but I'm here for you. So please don't feel that you need to stay on. You'll get the recording afterward. You can catch up on whatever we missed here. So I apologize for that. Okay, Lori, hopefully I answered your question in a good enough way. No right or wrong here, but definitely give people some break. All right. Casey, do you recommend a specific time to send emails during the holiday season? Another question we get all the time. There's no right or wrong here for time. So we see some data will tell you, hey, send early in the morning. Some will tell you late at night. Some will tell you midday. Some will tell you morning, night. You see data all the time. People are going to shop when they want to shop. So here's how I would do it. Peak periods, right? You think about those key days, Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, day before, because everything starts early and every sale is extended. Black Friday week, which I would do. You probably want to send a couple a day. If you're sending more than one a day, you probably want to go morning and later, like mid-evening maybe, to try to get people space it out a little bit. If you're sending 3 a day, I think the obvious thing is morning, afternoon, evening. As far as times beyond that, I think you're going to know best based on your audience. Are you marketing to mostly older people? Is it mostly younger people? Or is it kind of all the above, right? We get millennials, Gen Z, Gen Xers like myself. We get boomers. If you're kind of covering the gamut here, be smart. Think about your own shopping habits. Think about when people are more apt to buy. I don't think there's a right or wrong here, but I wouldn't send, remember, there can always be delays with email sending, and that could be on the actual sender. It could also be, especially when volumes are high, on the ISP side. So Gmail is getting flooded with tons of emails, and maybe there's a 2-hour delay for them receiving emails, which is a Gmail issue or a Hotmail issue or Outlook issue, whatever it might be. So always kind of plan for those things, especially for middays later in the days where there's like 2 hours left and you send it out and it doesn't get there for an hour and a half because of delays. So I would look at it. Don't worry about the time. Think about normal shopping habits. You probably get a pretty good indication about what traffic to your website comes at the highest periods of days. And I would look at that and go, okay, let's send a little bit before the high traffic normally starts. See if we can get them earlier. If you do last chance reminders, send those or schedule them for when that traffic's really starting to die down to try to keep the traffic. So look at your website traffic and kind of base it on there. But I don't think you're going to have a right or wrong answer here, which is good news and bad news, but I'd rather send it earlier than later. Just my 2 cents. Okay, let's see. Is it okay to include your contact info in the record? Oh, so it is, I think on the very opening slide, maybe my contact info is on there. If not, it's pretty simple. I'm gonna regret this so much. Greg@omnisend.com. So pretty simple, first name, but you can find me on LinkedIn. I can always connect with me there. I'll give you the info as well. Pretty much an open book, might have delay in responding, but I'll get to you. But I think on the first page, maybe my contact info was on there. So hopefully I'm right on that, but Greg@omnisend.com. Feel free to hit me up. All right. I think that is all the questions. Those are all the questions for now. We are 7 minutes over. So hopefully I didn't talk too fast for you. Hopefully I gave you enough information to kind of get going on. There we go. It's in the chat. Spam me away. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. I appreciate your time so much. Of course, you will get a short survey after the presentation. Please take a moment to fill it out. Let us know what you think, how I can improve, how we can improve, something you'd like to see, topics you'd like to see later. Just let us know how we're doing. We really appreciate it. I appreciate everyone's time today. Remember, check out all the tools that we have available for you, like the subject line tester, AI generator, those pre-built segments of workflows in Omnisend, 24/7, 365 live customer support as well. Thank you everyone for your time. Happy holiday marketing to you, and I look forward to the next time. Cheers, everyone.